Good afternoon, it's Wednesday, July 3. I'm Herman Green with your Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching online at onespotmedia.com. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has confirmed that the owners of Airbnbs will soon be required to pay taxes. Mr. Bartlett gave the confirmation while speaking on Power 106 FM's Morning Agenda earlier today. The details in this report.
On the weekend, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association President Omar Robinson suggested that taxes be levied on the Airbnb sector. Now, 3 days later, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is confirming that negotiations with Airbnb are underway, which will see the owners of Airbnbs paying taxes. Speaking on Power 106 FM's Morning Agenda on Wednesday, Mr. Bartlett says the government has recognized that operating standards have to be set locally. He adds that this will be done through the Tourism Product Development Company, TPDCO.
We are in negotiation now with Airbnb with regards to assess which will equate that of the guard which the members pay a la room tax. So that arrangement is pretty much down the road, and I told the JHT, in fact, that in short order, we will be able to say exactly what Airbnb's contribution is going to be.
In the meantime, Mr. Bartlett says the minister will be upgrading the standards for all areas in the tourism sector. He says the Jamaica Tourist Board Act will be amended with focus on the license arrangement for accommodations.
Currently, for example, hotels have eternal license. So we are having now that amended to have a 15-year license, in which case you could manage the whole process better and require standards all around in a stronger way, but also have some kind of sanctions for non-compliance. And so within the context of all of that is not just the hotel accommodation, but all accommodations. Because one of the things that we are concerned about also is reputational integrity. And the destination's reputation has to be maintained at all levels. Also, tourism has become quite litigious. People are suing you for left, right, and center now for all sorts of things.
Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the Tourism Minister says the Public Order Committee of Cabinet is to meet today to discuss the Noise Abatement Act as the government moves to improve compliance with the law. Mr. Bartlett says the committee, which is chaired by National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, will review the act and issues that have been raised by the tourism sector and other stakeholders. A position on the way forward will be taken at today's meeting. The Tourism Minister said the government recognizes the need for balance as entertainment is an income source for many Jamaicans. Under the Act, entertainment events must end at midnight on weekdays and 2 a.m. on weekends. 2 members of a family are counting their losses as their home was this morning destroyed by fire in Magotty, St. Elizabeth. TVJ News understands that about 4 o'clock, Mr. Edward Winter was sleeping when fire started. He was awakened only to discover that his room was engulfed in smoke. He rushed to the section of the house where he managed to exit the 3-apartment dwelling and called for help.
We wake up at 4 o'clock and I hear a propping. And then we smoke, and by the time I rush to the living room to go see what happened up me. Fire, and I run back outside and start bawl to the community. Fire, help, help, help. And by the time people come down the whole house engulfed. They even run back inside and try to get out some of the things then, but the Indian beside me have to call me out and say, come out, you can't do it, it can't happen. The fire, the roof started to come down and I have to run out, and by the time the fire be great, we come and just cooling down process then, and the whole place engulfed in fire. Everything that we have in possession of our life gone up in flame.
A resident who responded to the call for help also spoke with our news team.
I am calling out and I come out and I'm looking for in fire. I try to help him when he's coming out and we try to save some things. The fire get out of hand that we could not save anything. We had us to turn back out, take him out to save him and then turn back to do what I can do. So let's call short circuit. When we see on the wire, I don't know what caused it, but I try to disaggregate it, disable it and get it that it don't burn down the next building.
So you disconnect meter?
Not the meter, the wire. My wires and burns, and they couldn't be 20 meters, but I have to go study. Because I'm not a GPS worker, but I have the skill.
2 units from the Santa Cruz Fire Department were dispatched, but they could only facilitate cooling down operations as the building was already destroyed. The issue of students going hungry while at school is to be addressed in a significant way as a national school feeding program is now on the horizon. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization has made a commitment with the Agriculture Ministry that they will assist in the development of a homegrown feeding program. TVJ's Prince Moore reports.
It is said that students cannot learn on a hungry stomach. However, despite this, students are still being sent to school underfed to learn on a daily basis. This is about to change, as the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization has committed to providing homegrown foods to schools. Mr. Shaw, in welcoming the move, noted that his ministry will do everything in its power to rid school canteens of imported genetically modified food.
We have to make sure, guess what? You know what the good news is? The things that we produce in Jamaica are much more highly nutritious than the things we are importing from abroad to feed our children. Whether it is pumpkin, sweet potato, gluten-free cassava, gluten-free breadfruit, you name it, it's all more highly nutritious what we can produce here in Jamaica.
He added that with the agriculture sector being in transition, it will be easier to fulfill the needs.
These include, orchards, mango orchards, soursop orchards, guava orchards. You know why? Companies that are producing those juices out here right now are importing the puree from other countries, and we can produce it right here in Jamaica and create wealth for our farmers right here in Jamaica. In a proper school feeding program, we plant up all the pumpkins we need and create pumpkin puree, put it in a 5-gallon container that has a 2-year shelf life, and send it to the schools.
Meanwhile, Mr. Shaw, who is also a Member of Parliament for North East Manchester, revealed plans for a new school in his constituency.
I have 4 options. Option number 1 was shared with me by the principal. If we can get the land around here for the expansion, to build, either expand this school or we build another school. Option 2, Long Pond in Shudley, a possible site for another high school. Option 3, land at Fine Grass, around Shudley too, not because I was born in Shudley, but the land is around there. And option 4 is the expansion of Homewood Technical High School, because they have a lot of land up there.
He was speaking at the recent handing over ceremony of a reading lab at the Christiana High School in Manchester. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And we now take a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories after these messages. Welcome back, continuing the news. With the school summer holidays now upon us, a caution to Jamaican parents to ensure children receive the required immunization. Of particular concern to health officials in St. Mary is the measles vaccine. Speaking at a recent meeting of the St. Mary Parish Council, officials from the health department warned that with an increase of measles cases globally, countries like Jamaica are at threat.
Jamaica is one of the countries where, as I said before, measles has been eliminated. We do not want it on our shores, so we are encouraging the public, we're encouraging you to help us, to help everybody, to spread the word that we need to ensure our children are adequately vaccinated. All right? So this is just showing us a schedule for the vaccination. As I said before, at 1 year and at 18 months is when we give the doses, and that gives they're protected for about 97% from getting measles.
Parents are also being reminded to ensure the required immunizations are done prior to children beginning classes for the new school term.
If you know anybody who is an anti-vaxxer, because we have some persons like that who don't believe in immunization. They don't want to get their children vaccinated. Remember, being unvaccinated is an offense in Jamaica. You can be charged up to $1 million for not getting your child vaccinated. Right? But we want to use softer methods, milder methods to encourage. So please ask them to take their cards in to get their children vaccinated.
Former Member of Parliament for South Trelawney and State Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Brasco Lee, is dead. He served 4 terms in Parliament from 1980 to 1997. Mr. Lee was one of the so-called Western 11 who gave impetus to Bruce Golding's decision to leave the Jamaica Labour Party and form the National Democratic Movement, NDM, in 1995. In April 1997, Mr. Lee, then General Secretary of the NDM, was shot at his home. Mr. Lee contested the December 1997 election on an NDM ticket and lost. In a tweet, Prime Minister Andrew Holness expressed condolences to his family, friends and colleagues. And it's time now for a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we'll look at the cost of cancer care in Jamaica.
So you have to pay that $500,000 up front, and then you get a claim form after the fact. So you have to be able to have some sort of funding up front to take advantage of this opportunity of treatment. After that, then you submit your claim to the insurance company, and then they will refund you whatever percentage is in your coverage.
That's the Health Report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. Educate yourself about cancer. Support your loved one's treatment decisions. Stay connected and keep things normal.
We go on to news and sports. The Reggae Boys, who are contesting their 3rd consecutive CONCACAF Gold Cup semi-final, will seek to take part in as many finals when they take on title holders United States this evening at the Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The match starts at 8:30 p.m. Jamaica time. The 2 teams met at this same stage in 2015, with Jamaica defeating the United States 2-1, the first and only time since 2003 that the U.S. have failed to progress to the final. 2 years ago, they met in the final with the USA winning 2-1. The Reggae Boys got to the last 4 after a 1-0 victory over Panama, while the USA beat Curacao by a similar margin to set up Wednesday's encounter.
Which is a concern. The last game against Panama, I think we failed to connect from the middle to the final third, and it's always a concern. But as I said before, we are here to grind out results regardless of the situation, and come tomorrow will be no different.
The Jamaicans will go into the game without influential defender Damian Lowe, who is out on yellow card suspension. However, coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore says they will have enough to cope.
It would be a major blow to the team, but we have to put that behind. We have 23 players here. They are here for a reason, so we just have to find the best suitable player to fit in his position, and we go out there and do the job that is at hand.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for Prime Time News. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.